Today I'm going to take you on a virtual field trip so we can learn a little bit more about the history of our nation's flag. Our first stop is at the Delaware River. Let's zoom in. Now, as you can see, our picture shows what's called the Grand Union flag. Have you ever heard of the Grand Union flag? Well, some consider it to be our nation's first flag, and it was first flown at the Delaware River. Though this is up for some debate, as some think that it was first flown on Prospect Hill. As you can see in the image, this flag had the 13 stripes to represent our colonies, and then had the British flag in the corner of it. Now let's take a look at the surrounding area here. The borders layer shows us the borders of the Delaware River, and we can also see the states and areas surrounding it, including Pennsylvania up here, and let's see, New Jersey over here, and then if we scoot down, we can see the state of Delaware down here. Now let's scoot back up. Our polygon tool shows us some basic outlines of the Delaware River so we can get a better idea of what that river was like. If someone asked you what you thought our nation's first flag was, would you have thought of the Grand Union flag? Which story do you think is true? Do you think it was first flown at the Delaware River or on Prospect Hill? Why don't you think about that while we make our way to our next field trip location? We're heading over to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As we can see in our image, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was the birthplace of Betsy Ross. Now, who's Betsy Ross, you might be asking? Well, Betsy Ross created what a lot of people consider to be our first flag for the United States. There were no specifications for how the flag was to be designed, and so she created this pattern of the circle of stars rather than the way we see it on our flag today. Now let's take a look at her house. We're going to use our street view once we get zoomed in closer. We're going to go ahead and take our little person and put him on the street so we can take a look. And there you have it. This is said to be Betsy Ross's home, and could possibly even be where she created the first flag of our nation. So what do you think of this flag design? Go ahead and think about it, and we'll make our way to our last field trip location. We're going all the way to Saginaw, Michigan. Now, you might have noticed this image, and you might have recognized it. It's the flag as we know it today, the flag of our nation with the 13 stripes that have always been there to represent the 13 colonies that originally made up our nation. And then, of course, we have our 50 stars to represent the 50 states that now make up the United States of America. So why are we in Saginaw, Michigan? Well, that's because it's the birthplace of Robert G. Heft, as we can see in this image. But who's Robert G. Heft? Why do we want to see where he was born? Well, Robert G. Heft was the person who created the current flag that we use as the flag of the United States of America. So let's go ahead and take a look at the place where he was born, Saginaw, Michigan. Because we have the 3D buildings tool on, we can look and see some of the buildings around where Robert G. Heft grew up. kind of interesting to see, especially all that green. It looks a little different than Provo. So let's go back to our image of the flag, and I want to leave you with these questions. Why do you think we use stripes to represent the colonies? And why stars to represent the states? Also, do you think a star should be added for territories that we possess? Should there be a star for Puerto Rico? I'll leave that with you, and we'll explore some more. But now you have a better idea of a few of the places involved in the history of the flag of the United States of America.